What is up, guys? Pie Muffin here, and we are back with some more Trails Through Daybreak. Last time we finished off Agnes's first day, and we met Ferry, who is a member of the Kruga Jaeger Corps. She's a 13-year-old girl who's not a full-fledged member yet, but she is still, obviously, the daughter of someone who is in the Corps in a high-ranking portion, so she will eventually become a full Jaeger one day. She came to Van with a request to help find Aida, who we saw was, like an older sister to her from a different corpse, who seemed to go missing after that skirmish that they had. So we are now in the town of Creil, which is about 5-hour drive north of the main city of Edith, where we were before. And we're starting to gather some information, because this is where she was pretty much last seen 10 days ago. So now we're going to start looking for information. All right. Gonzalez, sorry, my brain is still Paper Mario pilled still, so Great Gonzalez from Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. All right, time to wrap this up. Come to think of it, I saw Kent and Annie playing down by the river today. Now, Kent's unstoppable, I tell you. Annie, though, she's nothing like him. I love them both to death, of course. Just funny to see how different they ended up. It's kind of funny because he's kind of got the Mario build too. He's got the mustache, the overalls, just not red overalls. He's got the hat. So that's actually kind of funny. Alright, let's see what you gotta say. You're green, so you probably have a side quest. Ah, pardon me. I've heard that you take jobs like bracers do, yes? I've got a bit of a problem. I need some help. Would you be willing to hear me out? Sure, but bear in mind I ain't a bracer. I do a job if I feel like it, and I charge more than they do too. You good with that? Of course, just as long as the price is still reasonable. Easy. Doubt I'll need to charge you too much. It'll just depend on how complicated the job is. Thank you very much. You see, I'm stumped on what to do. I've been trying to make soba noodles, and they're just not turning out right. Someone from the city like yourself might know what I'm doing wrong. Soba noodles? A dish made from buckwheat flour, kneaded and cut into noodles. I recall from a book that soba noodles are popular in Eastern cuisine, Far Eastern specifically. Bingo! You two ever had any by chance? It's popular street food back in the capital. It has its fans for sure. Pretty simple to make, but it's got a really deep flavor and it smells like nothing else. He's just a connoisseur, even though he specializes in sweets. Van is a connoisseur of food in general. Is it really? Dang, now I'm hungry. I felt the same when the mayor told me about it the other day. So I figured I might as well try to make some myself for the Harvest Festival. I went around and asked the villagers for advice, and some of them do know about those sorts of recipes. But, well, it's been a bit of a flop. I haven't been able to get the flavors right. The Harvest Festival. I think I read an article about it in the paper. Right, now I remember. They celebrate every autumn, right? That would mean this year is right around the corner. This year's. So, I ain't exactly a cook, but I can try and give you some pointers based on the soba I've had in the capital. I think that would be a big help. Since you have that point of reference, hearing about new experiences from new people is really interesting to me. Thank you for hearing me out. Your thoughts, Van? She's eager for help, but it really isn't something I feel like the only reason to accept this is because we are not in the city. The guild isn't here. She can't just put in a request for a guild member to come out here to do this. Obviously, as you can see, the alignment guide, it's only going to be increasing our law. Not really a job for a Spriggan, but we've got the time. Alright, I'll take it on. I always make sure I do the job right, so I want some good soba out of this. Oh, thank you so much. I'll do my best. I'm getting excited for some noodles myself. So where do we start with this? Good question. So you said you tried to make some, but it didn't go so hot? What about them didn't come out right? Well, the flavor was off and so was the appearance. The dough turned powdery while I was cutting it, like it wasn't put together very well. It took so much effort to cut it that I just sort of mangled the dough. The result didn't even look like noodles. The outside was all soggy and wet, but the inside was still chalky. It didn't soak evenly at all. That implies something might have gone wrong when making the dough. Perhaps there's more to making it than ordinary bread dough. And then the flavoring sauce. I tried to mix it up and make a flavor more familiar to the villagers here. So I ended up using basil as my base. It wasn't inedible per se, but it just didn't seem quite right. Yeah, sounds like you leapt before you looked there. Best to stick to the recipe. Well, yes, you're right. So there's a lot to unpack here. But before we can dive, we need to figure out how to make the stuff ourselves. So you said you learned about the dish from some of the villagers, right? Yes, mostly from Mayor Wen and Matona. They were a great help. Both can trace their roots to the east, so they had a general idea of how the recipe went. Well, that's a good place as any to start. Feel free to kill some time until we're done asking around. Of course, thank you for your help. She just seems like she's not the best cook either, so... Yep, oh yeah, so you can... Certain NPCs will have dialogue you can ask them specifically about, so let's get this done. So who are you? Matana? Yep, there we go. Oh, you mean that recipe Giovanna asked about? Admittedly, I'm not too familiar with the recipe itself, but I do know plenty about its ingredients. Buckwheat is my specialty. That's been passed down my family tree for generations. As millers, we know our wheat. Really now, that's wild. Guess I shouldn't be too surprised, though. What with galettes being the big thing here. Yep. It was my family that first imported buckwheat flour to the village, in fact. So I dare say it's in my blood. So how do you make buckwheat dough? There are two main ways you can do it. The simpler way is to just use only buckwheat flour. That's called 100% dough. The second is to mix buckwheat flour with standard wheat flour. You can play around with the ratio of buckwheat to wheat, and that can change the dough pretty significantly. I gotta drink some water real quick. There's a lot, I forgot how much reading we do in these playthroughs. Like I mentioned before, I haven't had to do one of these recording sessions like this since we finished the Nayuta playthrough last year. Well, it finished uploading this year, but I finished recording it last year. The most common ratio is 80% dough. That's 80% buckwheat and 20% wheat. So the way you make the dough isn't always the same. There's more to this than I thought. The more buckwheat you have in the dough, the easier it dries out. So working with higher buckwheat ratios takes more skill, especially while you're kneading it. That's about the gist of it. Huh, a lot more complicated than I gave it credit for. Thanks for the crash course. My pleasure. Give my regards to Giovanna, would you? Let's give it a crack and see what we come up with. Right. Isn't there more, though? Don't we have to talk to the mayor? Where's the other, Mayor Wen, so where's Mayor Wen at? That's the Orbital Factory. No. You're an officer. Well, they do have police here. Just not bracers. No. That's everybody. I don't remember exactly which one is the mayor's house. I think it might be this one. Ah, here we go. Why doesn't he have a... Okay. Oh, it's just about Giovanna's soba efforts? I'm sorry to hear that she's having trouble with it. But I do appreciate you helping her. I hope she gets the recipe just right. Well, the field's not my forte, but I make sure I always do the job right. You leave it to us. Haha, that's the spirit, young man. As for the soba, I can give some insight on the sauce if you like. My mother was born quite far to the east. She became skilled at preparing their cuisine growing up. From what I remember, soba sauce is made by first preparing a base soup stock and then adding the flavor of choice to it. Huh, can you tell us more? The flavoring is a blend of various spices and sauces, usually local to the area. When the blend is finished, you mix it into the soup stock. Soba would traditionally use kelp or dried bonito, to my knowledge. But there are many other bases you can use. Dried vegetables, mushrooms, sardines, and the like. Really, anything goes as long as it tastes good. So you can personalize the flavor of the soba that way, I see. But kelp and bonito don't appear to be common ingredients here. At least, I'm not particularly familiar with them. Probably bigger out in the east. I see, we can probably use stuff more common around here instead. So what should we make the soup stock out of? Giovanni mentioned basil. Basil would work in a pinch, sure. But I'm thinking if we want to make the soba pop, we should get something stronger. Seafood's a good bet. We'll just need something we can find around here. Shrimp, maybe? Think we can get some of that? Aha, as it so happens, some of our merchants do carry that. Shrimp is common in Eastern cuisine, so you should be able to find some from specialty merchants. I think I have some in my house, in fact. If you'd like, you only need to ask. Perfect. Hopefully we don't gotta raid your pantry, but if we do, we'll let you know. Nice. Our ingredients are secured. Secured indeed. Mission accomplished. Hehe. Thank you for your help, Mayor Wen. Oh, it's my pleasure. I see some wonderful soba in my future. Okay, that should be good enough. I think we have a good grasp on the subject now. So do we go back to Giovanna now? Actually, you know, I think we're still missing something. Oh, and what would that something be? A secret spice, that's what. Nothing wrong with sticking to the basics, but I say if we're making our own, put a little spin on it. Something off the beaten path, you know? Maybe something that grows around here. How about local plants? We could probably find some stuff down by the creek. I'm not sure what you mean, but you sound really confident about it. I trust you on this one. Cool. If we don't find anything, no biggie. Mer. What's wrong, Nero? Usually you're running around a lot more. Come on, Kent, let's go home, okay? I think Nero's anxious. Maybe he wants to sleep. Aw, I want to stay outside. There's so many new people to play with. Ooh, Annie, there's a crab. You get way too excited, Kent. Something about that old man really scared me. I wonder what he was doing all the way out here in our village. In the village. What old man? Yeah, how's everything going with the bus repair?
何かあったらもう一儲けさせてもらうさ。
もう素直じゃないんですから。
Of all the times where monsters crop up, though. I keep hearing on the news about how there are fewer and fewer of them, and yet there they were. I never would have imagined I'd come face to face with one. Oh, right, I did remember to get in touch with the company about compensating you. Glad to hear it. Sorry, can't talk much right now. Need to fix the bus up here. My apprentice Kaina, she's over in the factory. She can help you out if you need something. She's still learning, but you wouldn't know it. Looking at her, she can get your ordnance sorted out in a jiffy. I'd appreciate it, actually. It'd be nice for her to get some real-world experience. Good to hear. Is that by the creek? Oh, over here then?
こんなに大きなものが風で動くなんて。私もこんなに近くで見るのは初めてです。
Nice little swing. Oh, look at this right here. It's a weed or something? Is that even edible? I don't believe I've seen a plant like this before. Heh, yeah, this here is what you call a fresh ingredient, city slickers. Take note. Not common in the Central East either, so I imagine you don't see any out there either. Van took the plant by the stem and plucked it. Now, Far Eastern spice recipes call for wasabi. And while this ain't the same thing, it's still called mountain wasabi, and for good reason. Packs a hell of a kick. So yeah, this'll do just fine. You shred this up, grind it into a paste, and bam, instant winner. I see, so this is what raw horseradish looks like. Interesting. So, is it similar to other kinds of radishes? Hoo boy, you don't want to eat this like other radishes, no. Might as well kiss your tongue goodbye if you do. Is it really that strong? I'm not a picky eater, you know, I can take it. Now I'm eager to try horseradish and soba noodles both. I think that about does it. Then, let's bring Giovanna up to speed. Alright, well, let's go give her a talk to. It's a nice, homey little village. It kind of reminds me of, in Cold Steel 4, we went to Olivia's hometown. It kind of reminds me of that. Yo, we picked up a lot of stuff from the villagers. Oh, thank you very much. If possible, I'd like to try and make another batch, and you can guide me as I'm making them. Would that work for you? Teach her or ditch her? Sure thing. Thank you. Let's move to my kitchen. Oh heavens, I forgot. My house is just a mess right now. I'm sorry, could you give me a minute to clean up? What timing? If you're in need of a kitchen, mine is ready and waiting. Ah, may or when? I thought I'd stop by and see how things were going. Good thing I did. Best to strike while the iron's hot, no? You'd be welcome to use my kitchen instead of cleaning yours up first. Oh, thank you so much. I'll gladly accept. Let's head for the mayor's house, then. I'll just need to stop by my house real quick and grab some cookware and ingredients. Sure, we'll help you carry whatever you need. This is getting really exciting. I do look forward to these noodles we'll make. Well, make yourselves at home. My husband told me you'll be borrowing our kitchen. Help yourselves to whatever you might need. We'll be upstairs if you need anything from us. Don't hesitate to bug us if you run into trouble. I'm looking forward to seeing how your noodles can come out. Thank you both so much. I promise they'll be worth the wait. Now then, we have the kitchen, and we have the ingredients. All that's left is to put it all together. Do let me know if anything seems off to you. I'm counting on you. Sounds good. Glad to help. Ooh, I can't wait. So first and foremost is the dough. I remember that you can use 100% buckwheat, or you can substitute wheat to make a ratio of your choosing. At the time I figured, well, the more buckwheat the merrier, and I just went all in with it. So you went for 100%? I did, yes. Should we stick with 100% dough then? No. Not to be pushy yet, but I think a lower ratio would be better, like 80-20. Matana was telling me how 100% dough is really tricky to work with. Dries out before you know it. So adding some standard wheat into the mix should help you when you're kneading it. I see. Well, that does make sense. Let's go ahead 80% buckwheat then. Yep. Now to knead it. Oh goodness, you're right. It's so much more hydrated than before. This is much easier. This should hold up better when I cut it. I think the ratio really was the secret. So you just gotta remember everything you were told. Smells good too. It's looking great already. I'm excited to see the completed dish. Right, onto the sauce now. I think the stock was where I went wrong last time. I tried using basil and it didn't turn out very well. What would you recommend instead? Oh, we want to go with the shrimp. Let's try using shrimp this time. Mayor said he had some in his pantry. Don't imagine they'll have a problem with us borrowing some, long as we offer them a bowl. Shrimp? I see. Let's try that then. I'll go and find the shrimp for her. I'll keep an eye on the pot for when it starts boiling. Alright. Under the watchfire, the dish was finally assembled. Oh, now this is superb. The smell alone makes my mouth water. So these are proper soba noodles. I've never had them before, but they look scrumptious. I'm flattered. I couldn't have done it without all your help. Now, let's see how it tastes, shall we? Hell yeah, man. I'm starving. Thank you for treating us. Thanks. Oh, wow. It tastes really funny, but in a good way. It's delicious. Can I have seconds, please? Oh, yeah. The hint of shrimp with that earthy note from the buckwheat. That right there is a winner. 5 stars. I'd wolf them down again. I can really taste the natural flavors in this dish. This is almost like a sample of the entire region. You mentioned this was a Far Eastern recipe. This stands out even among them. It's unlike anything I've eaten before. I really wasn't expecting the flavor profile to be so complex. It turned out simply wonderful. This does bring me back. The taste is always so comforting to me no matter how long I go between bowls. I dare say you've mastered this recipe. Make sure you try some of the horseradish too, hey? It's freshly shredded, so it'll really light up your taste buds. Oh, good point. I may as well give it a try. I wonder how it might complement the noodles. You told us just a little bit, right? I don't see the harm in adding a little more. I could take the spiciest of Central Eastern recipes. This will be cake. Agnes and Fairy tried the horseradish with their noodles. What is that? It's not just spicy. I can't even taste the noodles anymore. I really don't like that. I prefer the noodles by themselves. Goodness, this is strong indeed. I imagine that's to do with how fresh it is. It's acidic at first, but the aftertaste is quite pleasant. I can see the appeal. It's just an acquired taste. Yep, it's a very mature flavor. Not for the faint of heart, but once you try it, it hooks you. You don't like it, though. That ain't a problem. You can just have it as it is instead. The buckwheat's plenty flavorful on its own. Ugh, why do I feel like I just lost a fight? Van is quite the seasoned eater, isn't he? There's something admirable about that. Appetites thoroughly whetted, the group made quick work of the soba noodles. Thank you all so much. I'm glad I was able to do the recipe justice. Now I just need to practice it so that come festival time, they'll be even tastier. Looking forward to it. I'm glad I got to try the Far Eastern cuisine for myself. This really was delicious. Thank you very much for the meal, Giovanna.
任務完了。お疲れ様でした。
はあ、上出来だ。
入金を確認したわ。
I feel like Law should level up pretty soon. Alright, so that was our only side quest for the time being, so now we continue to gather information. Let's talk to this guy and his dog. Garland the dog. Pup's been on edge lately. Just got back from a hunt and I heard the news. You're telling me monsters attacked a bus? Yeah, I was rolling by the village and it just got jumped. We fought them off though, no injuries to the passengers. Good, good. They were lucky to have you there. Something about that attack rubs me the wrong way. I noticed the monsters were acting all sort of weird on my hunts. Oh, you've seen them firsthand? What specifically was strange about them? So I run into these pack of wolves around the village sometimes. I've noticed them getting a lot more territorial recently. I can't really call it violent or aggressive though. It feels like something else. So the monsters are on edge? Or otherwise acting up? That's what I'm noticing, yeah. Doesn't feel like anger, it feels like fear. I don't know what could be rattling them so hard though. They hadn't been causing trouble until now. Y'all watch yourselves out there. Don't mean to nag you, though. Doubt you need me to remind you. Oh no, by all means, thank you for the warning. Take care on your hunts. So Van, does that mean... Maybe. We don't know for sure that the wolves that hounded the bus were acting the same way. All we know, it could have been something else. But that's a good guess, so let's keep it in mind. Thank you, Mr. What was his name? Hunter Rutt? Hunter Rutz. Oh yeah, before we continue, I should check to see if they have any specific items. Family style galette. I still don't know what a galette is. Alright, I'm gonna look this up. What's a galette? It's gotta be a real world thing, right? Galette is a term used in French cuisine to designate various types of flat, round, or freeform crusty cakes. Okay, so it's like a cake type thing. Okay. Well, we're here, so let's get a galette for ourselves. And a galette crepe. And a fresh salad, sure. Yeah, we can use the kitchen if we want to for this stuff. There are several shops in town, though. Daily goods.
いらっしゃい。
Aha! A gift for Agnes.
またの。
スケジューラーを起動したわ。大切にしますね。
Good. Oh, it's also nice. Obviously, you never got this really in Cold Steel, but you get to have everyone running with you. I actually don't remember. Did you have people following you in Cold Steel? I don't remember. No, I don't think you did. I think it was just the main character ran, but you could like switch between the characters still like this. So obviously nice to have following groups again. So you were the guys who saved those passengers. You have my thanks. No problem. Hey, if you mind if I ask you a few questions? Trying to look into the attack myself. I see. I do appreciate your help, but I'm not sure I want to get wrapped up in the whole situation myself. Oh, you'll be fine. Real jiffy, I promise. In full disclosure here, we're acting on the authority of a certain intelligence department. What? You don't need the CID. Let's just say I got the big boys on speed dial. Wait, what is he talking about? He's very good at stretching the truth. He's not technically lying, but... well, I suppose it won't kill me. What do you want to ask about? Right, so we're looking into this band of Jaegers that blew through town about maybe 10-ish days ago. We're thinking they might have come back recently. You seen anything that fits their description? Yeah, actually, I do recall bumping into a shady woman loitering around here. She was in the area alone on my patrol 3 nights ago. I saw her again the following night. That has to be her. You said she was alone? She was, yeah. I found it strange myself. And that she only showed up at night made her even more suspicious. I see. Do you know what her motive might have been? I can't say for certain. None of the villagers reported assault or stolen goods at the time. And it's not unheard of for Jaegers to just stop by here for supplies. I don't see any criminal intent in her behavior, suspicious though it was. Fair enough. I guess she stands out just by being a Jaeger, even if she ain't causing trouble. What we do know is that she came back twice. Well, after her unit came through. Thanks, Van, for that little scare tactic. Oh, custom just lets you do everything. She's got more open slots than these two, so let's, 45, 60. Sure. Oh, new gear. She's fine, but these two definitely can use new weapons. Not that we need it, but... yeah, I think we're good otherwise. Welcome. Oh, you must be the travelers I've heard about. How can I help you? Anything you need done with your ordnance? Maintenance, maybe? You just leave it to me. I'm no greenhorn, despite what the boss says. Thanks, we might hit you up for that in a bit, but right now I want to ask you some questions. You recall seeing a band of Jaegers come by around 10 days ago? Jaegers? Actually, yeah. I think I saw the boss talking to this Jaeger-looking girl. That would have been, what, the night before last? Yeah, pretty sure. I'm guessing she needed work done on her weapon, or some supplies, maybe. No, I think it might have been something else. She asked to borrow our truck. So I think she was doing some hauling that night. Hauling what? I don't know. Yeah, that is odd. Coming out alone under the cover of darkness just to haul stuff around. I know, right? It makes me awfully curious. At the time, I thought, like, maybe she just needs some tools or equipment or something. Maybe for fixing up their guns or other stuff. Good to know, thanks. The people at the inn said she came through 3 days ago. But then she came back the following night because she talked to the factory boss the night before last.
さて、街道で例の魔獣をもう一度見てみるか。
聞き込みはもういいんですか？
ああ、今拾えるのはこんなもんだろう。
Well, I can see this leading into something else, so I think we'll go ahead and stop here. So next time we're going to head onto the highway and see what we can find about the surrounding areas, since it seems like they're still in the area somehow, just not staying in the village for whatever reason. So that's going to be it, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe more if you're new to the channel. I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day, everyone.